President Trump has finally fired someone that worked for Biden and was rigging the numbers in Biden's favor to make him look good. This was long overdue, but Trump has finally done it. President Trump floats an amazing idea that would help millions and millions of Americans. We also now have text messages about how Hillary Clinton would strategically use then Vice President Joe Biden to sow seeds of doubt about Donald Trump and his connection to Russia. Lastly, Trump tells Israel, you must do more to get food and water to Palestinians immediately to avoid starving people. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. Let's jump right in. President Trump announced a tariff hike on select Canadian imports. They messed around and found out. Instead of a 25% tariff, he's automatically increased it to 35% effective today. Products under the USMCA will remain exempt. The White House has accused Canada of failing to help stem the flow of fentanyl into the United States and retaliated against Trump's enforcement action. President Trump also criticized Canada for recognizing a Palestinian state until this war is over, claiming it hinders his ability to do trade talks, and even suggested he might need to annex Canada in the future, to which Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney immediately shut down that idea. In a broader move, President Trump signed an executive order establishing reciprocal tariffs on dozens of countries with a base rate of 10%. However, on certain areas like Syria, Iraq, India, and Brazil, it is much higher. Now, separately, the Senate Appropriation Committee overwhelmingly rejected Trump's proposed 40% cut to NIH, instead increasing their budget by $400 million. The committee also blocked plans to consolidate the 27 institutions into 8 or 9 institutions and overhauled the granting system. So I guess they wanted to give themselves more money. That may end up in court. Now, it was recently brought to President Trump's attention that Big Pharma wasn't lowering drug prices for Americans and complying with Trump's previously signed executive order. President Trump has gone to bat for the American people. He's basically said, Big Pharma, you are now on notice. So he goes through this. I won't read all of it, but basically reminding them that they need to lower their prices. If they're giving a favored nation better drug prices than America, they need to immediately drop those prices. He then threatened them saying, are you going to betray an executive order from the sitting president of the United States of America? This order went out months ago. You need to comply, or else I'm going to make doing business in the United States extremely expensive and extremely difficult. So President Trump is on top of this, fighting for the American people. Now, in May of 25, that's when President Trump signed that executive order, directing 17 major pharmaceutical companies, including Pfizer, Eli Lilly, and others, to lower drug prices to the most favored nation policy. I will continue to update you on this, but they're costing Medicaid, Medicare, and private insurance companies billions and billions of unnecessary dollars. And he's saying, I will use every tool in my arsenal if you fail to comply. A whistleblower has come forward alleging that they were pressured by supervisors to endorse the Obama-era Russian collusion fake story and to prop up the Steele dossier. According to the whistleblower, their promotion was made contingent upon signing their name to the fake Russian story. The assessment reportedly relied on selective Russian media while ignoring the truth. Citing ethics concerns, the whistleblower refused and attempted to alert more than a dozen government bodies, including the Inspector General and Special Counsel John Durham. Now he's connected with DNI Tulsi Gabbard. She has invoked whistleblower protection for this man or woman and confirmed the allegations are true. More will be coming out about this. Now, Tulsi Gabbard commended the whistleblower by saying, "Thank you for your integrity and your courage. This courageous whistleblower and others are coming forward now, putting their own well-being on the line to defend our democratic republic, ensure people know the truth, and hold those responsible accountable." Now, John Solomon, somebody that I've been sharing his information with you all week, just received a new update. He says that they have text messages that showed the first thing Hillary was going to do was turn to then Vice President Joe Biden to plant ideas or seeds of doubt in the minds of the American people. Let me go ahead and roll that for you, and then we will watch it together.
John Solomon, let's start with the breaking news. And I believe you might have a little bit of news to break either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, I do. We'll lean into it right now. So this email was, and these intercepts were part of a very secret U.S. program where we spy on our enemies. And the government has the ability to determine if this email is real, but technology it would have to reveal would be very sensitive. And so there is a balancing act that has played out here in the last few weeks as people decided what to do with this. This is an explosive piece of evidence, but it's just a piece of evidence. We have to now, in the government, find out, did it really happen this way? But I will tell you something that did happen in the summer of 2016. U.S. intelligence, when they first intercepted this, began to look at some other things. Could this be true? Could the Russians really have something? Have they stumbled onto a plot? One of the things they intercepted were text messages that showed that the first thing Hillary Clinton was going to do was to turn to Vice President Joe Biden and see if he would take the first blow against Donald Trump. Would he go out right in the middle of July and say, I think Donald Trump's got a Russia problem? Well, they watched that happen in real time, first in 2 interviews, then at a speech at the Democratic National Committee. It led some of our U.S. intelligence analysts to believe that what the Russians had captured was an ongoing plot and that it was really going on. And then a few days later, the FBI opens up, just like the Russian intelligence suggested. What we are sadly lacking is a complete investigation. This 10 years later, Chris Wray's FBI, John Durham's investigation, the U.S. Intelligence Committee, James Comey never fully investigated this. We could authenticate this if we put our elbow grease into it. The government owes us an answer to find out if this is all true. But Joe Biden did make that. Tomorrow morning, we're going to show you how Joe Biden's actions match what the Russian intelligence was predicting would happen.
Okay, so these new text messages show that the first thing that Hillary Clinton was planning to do was to use sleepy Joe Biden as a puppet to go out and start to kick off the Russia, fake Russia story. So pretty crazy indeed. All right, I also have a great clip from Benny Johnson, someone who's been on the show, as well as former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who I'm trying to get on the show. And Gaetz was the guy that got some of these people to lie to the government, which is a big no-no. So let me pull that up on the screen, and then we'll go ahead and watch that one together. Here we go.
Can you give us a honest man's opinion, having seen the inside of this machine and knowing so very closely the Trump team and the president himself? What's going to happen? Like, prepare our audience, right? Like, what's going to happen?
Right. So if you're Clapper or Brennan or Comey or Obama, every time the phone rings, every time there's a knock at the door, every time you hear the leaves rustle on your stoop, you're wondering whether or not it's somebody serving you a subpoena or giving you notice of service that you're going to have to provide documents and potentially testimony to a grand jury. Decisions will have to be made by some really smart prosecutors like Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche about who to flip, who to give immunity to, that will be the narrator of this great conspiracy. Whenever you have a major conspiracy trial, you have to have a great narrator. And who's that going to be? Who maybe wants the opportunity to participate in the proceedings in that way? That's the next thing coming. The subpoenas, and then who flips.
And one more time, I'm not a betting man, but please handicap for us, Matt. Do you expect people will go to prison for this?
Well, look, I think that it's always difficult to get in front of the prosecutors who have to make some of these charging decisions, but a lot of that's going to come down to venue. I don't know whether or not some of these things happened outside of DC in jurisdictions where you can get a fair shake. We already had Andrew McCabe strung up, ready to go on lying to Congress, and there wasn't a grand jury that would even indict him in Washington, D.C. because of the nature of that deeply corrupt place. So I think that the venue question is what that will turn on.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll take mugshots for right now. You know, I'll start with the low hanging fruit, man. I'll take the mugshots.
Just nice to, hey, by the way, just nice to get the Durham annex here in 2025. Thank goodness. I wonder what annexes we're going to be getting in 2035, Benny. Maybe that's when we'll get. Maybe that's when we'll get the Benny Johnson Tim Pool annex. We'll wait till 2035 and learn.
That's right. I've been asking. What a filthy, dirty op, man. What a filthy, dirty op. I'm telling you, that thing stinks to high heavens.
All right. So Matt Gaetz believes there is meat on this bone, but he believes it will have more to do with the venue, meaning if this happens in Washington, D.C., the rats in D.C., they're going to let these guys get away with crimes. If they do it down in Florida or some other place, there is a great chance that we will see something really big. Now, sadly, when Trump was indicted and arrested, Hillary Clinton went on live TV and laughed at him and mocked him. And it's embarrassing, but let me just go ahead and remind you of what she did and why we should all want to see the same happen to her, because this is a tragedy. Watch this.
All over the country right now, people are wondering what Hillary Rodham Clinton is thinking, watching things unfold in Georgia. She is the former Democratic presidential nominee, U.S. Senator from New York and Secretary of State. I should tell you, she has a new essay out.
Oh, I can't believe this.
Yeah, this is not the circumstances in which I expected to be talking to you.
Nor me, Rachel. It's always good to talk to you, but honestly, I didn't think that it would be under these circumstances. Yet another set of indictments.
This is something, this is becoming like a skill set. Like in the news business, you say like, oh, I've covered Olympics or I've covered a campaign. Now it's, you know, those of us who've covered 4 indictments. Do you feel satisfaction in that? You warned the country essentially that he was going to try to end democracy, but most of the country didn't believe you.
Well, it's hard to believe. I don't feel any satisfaction. I feel great, you know, just great, profound sadness.
Oh, come on. She is such a liar. Oh, I don't feel any satisfaction. You just laughed. You just mocked. You're like, wow, finally, he's being held accountable for the stories I invented. You are a wicked human being. So don't feel bad for Hillary Clinton if she gets arrested, if she gets a mugshot. I guarantee you she won't raise $10 million off of her mugshot like Trump did, because we all knew that Trump was innocent, but she is not innocent. And it's just absolutely gross to me what these people are doing. Now, this is what President Trump put out early today. The Russia hoax is now totally undisputed. The facts are all there in black and white. It is the biggest scandal in American history. The perpetrators of this crime must pay a big price. This can never be allowed to happen again. I'm telling you, he regrets not locking Hillary Clinton up, and she does not regret all of the horrible stuff that she put him through, all of those lies. And so I just don't feel bad for her at all. All right. Now, do you own a business? Do you want to get more leads and make more money? The marketing and lead acquisition game has changed so much in the last few years. Let's be honest. Marketing and sales are the engine to making money with a business. Business coach Alex Alberon will show you how to strategically grow your business. We'll show you how to create a bigger email list. We'll show you how to get more leads, build an online presence, extend your social media, build out a website, and increase your reach. All of this leads to more money. He will focus on key ideas specific to your business on how to generate more leads and make more money. Now, I've arranged with him from my community to get you a free consultation. Just give him a call. I'm going to leave a website down below. You can go down there, sign up for that free consultation. He'll walk you through his program, how he helps you get more leads and make more money. I will, again, leave that down below for you to check out. All right, now, President Trump has finally fired the loser that lied over and over and over again about Biden's economy and the incredible jobs numbers that he was creating every single month. Let me show you exactly what President Trump had to say about this person, because it's not kind, and it was long overdue that this person be let go. So, breaking news, President Trump fires Commissioner of Labor Statistics, a Biden appointee, after job reports heavily revised down. President Trump said, "I was just informed that our country's job numbers are being produced by a Biden appointee, Dr. Eric McEntarfer, the Commissioner of Labor Statistics, who faked the jobs numbers before the election to try and boost Kamala's chances of victory." This is the same Bureau of Labor Statistics that overstated the jobs growth in March 2024 by approximately 818,000 jobs. And then again, right before the 2024 presidential election in August and in September by 112,000. These were records. No one can be that wrong. We need accurate job numbers. I have directed my team to fire this Biden political appointee immediately. She will be replaced with someone much more competent and qualified. Important numbers like this must be fair and accurate. They can't be manipulated for political purposes. McEntarfer said there was only 73,000 jobs added, but more importantly, that's a major mistake made by them. 258,000 jobs downward in the prior 2 months. Similar things happened in the first part of the year, always to be negative. The economy is booming under Trump, despite a Fed that also plays games, this time with interest rates, where they lowered them twice and substantially just before the presidential election. I assume in the hopes of getting Kamala elected. And how did that work out, Jerome Too Late Powell? Should be put out to pasture. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, I remember covering these stories on your behalf where it was like Biden was hitting home run after home run after home run. And yet in the news and the media, people were saying, I can't afford my bills. I can't find a job. I feel like I'm competing against illegal immigrants. I just can't seem to get ahead. Well, that's because they were lying. They lied about over 800,000 jobs. Well, President Trump, he's putting out the truth. Look at this. Native-born jobs are skyrocketing. Foreign-born jobs are plummeting. In the last few months, native, meaning U.S. citizens, up 1.8 million jobs. Foreigners down 1.5 million. This means that Americans are getting back to work. We're taking the jobs they say that nobody wants, and we're doing the work. And you cannot fake these numbers. This is from Fred. You can see jobs up under Trump, jobs for illegal immigrants down. So this is huge. President Trump is literally changing America for the better. So that liar has now been fired. Fire the liar, right? And just absolutely incredible. All right, now I wanted to share an idea that President Trump has floated. I think it's incredible. President Trump's proposal to eliminate capital gains tax on home sales aims to stimulate the U.S. housing market by removing taxes on profits exceeding $250,000 for a single person and $500,000 for a married couple or families. especially seniors and long-term homeowners, could retain more equity, enhancing their own financial security. This incentivizes selling, particularly for those hesitant due to tax burdens, increasing housing inventory and easing shortages. More sales could boost construction, real estate services, and related industries, potentially driving economic growth. However, critics argue it may disproportionately benefit wealthier households and reduce federal revenue, possibly offsetting broad economic gains. However, that first part is not true. It doesn't disproportionately benefit the wealthy, because anything over $500,000 has to pay taxes, which means the wealthy are paying the taxes while lower income and middle class families get all of the benefit. There are 113 million homes in America. This would benefit generations of people. Imagine selling your home and not having to immediately fork over a huge percentage of your gains to the government. I mean, gosh, none of us would mind paying taxes if they didn't spend the money on stupid stuff. Let me know in the comments. Do you want to pay taxes to the government on your home equity? I know I don't. All right, now in some international news, President Trump has called on Hamas to immediately surrender and release hostages. He says it's the fastest way to end your humanitarian crisis in Gaza. He wrote, the fastest way to end the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is for Hamas to surrender and release the hostages. His message comes after ceasefire talks have stalled. So Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, has been traveling back and forth to Israel to meet with Benjamin Netanyahu and also leaders of Hamas to try to end this. Ceasefire discussions hit a deadlock last week after Israel responded to Hamas's amendment on a U.S.-backed proposal involving a 60-day truce in exchange for prisoners. Israeli officials have hinted at the possible annexation of parts of Gaza if the stalemate continues, while Netanyahu remains firm on demands to disarm Hamas and dismantle its leadership. Amid escalating famine conditions, Israel has begun implementing a daily 10-hour military pause so that food, water, and supplies can get in. President Trump has urged Israel, the United States, and international partners to take advantage of this and ramp up the amount of food and water getting in so that we can avoid a starvation crisis. All right, that's my update for today. Let me know what you think about all of this. You guys, it's time for Hillary Clinton to be arrested, mugshot, perp walked, and indicted, and then let a jury of her peers go through and tell us whether she is guilty or not. All the evidence is there. It just needs to happen. All right, I love you guys. If you could, give this video a like so that YouTube will share it with more people. I'm competing against ABC, CBS, MSNBC, not really CNN, but I want to get the truth out to more and more people. So if you could, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share with family and friends. Stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.